Turkey is one of the most visited countries on Earth. Millions of travelers arrive every year for Istanbul, Cappadocia, the Mediterranean coast, ancient ruins, and incredibly affordable prices. But at the same time, you've probably seen headlines about protests, earthquakes, regional tensions, inflation, scams, and political instability. So, what's the reality? Is Turkey actually dangerous for tourists? Or is it one of the most misunderstood travel destinations in the world? Today, we're going to break down what travelers should realistically know before visiting Turkey in 2026, including safety, scams, transportation, political concerns, natural disasters, and the places tourists should approach more carefully. One of the biggest mistakes travelers make is treating Turkey like a single experience, because it isn't. Istanbul feels completely different from Antalya. Antalya feels different from Cappadocia, and Eastern Turkey feels different from all of them. That matters because most tourist areas in Turkey are surprisingly normal, modern, organized, and heavily visited internationally. Places like Istanbul, Cappadocia, Izmir, Bodrum, Antalya, and Fethiye receive millions of visitors every year and operate with massive tourism infrastructure. In these regions, the average traveler usually experiences Turkey as energetic, crowded, chaotic at times, but generally safe and manageable, especially compared to what international news coverage often suggests. For most visitors, the biggest problems are usually scams, aggressive sales tactics, transportation overcharging, pickpocketing, tourist pricing, and occasional harassment in crowded areas. Violent crime against tourists is relatively uncommon in the major tourism zones. That doesn't mean you should ignore safety. But Turkey is not a destination where most travelers spend their trip feeling physically threatened. Instead, it's a place where situational awareness matters, especially in busy bazaars, public transport, nightlife areas, and heavily touristic districts. Istanbul, in particular, can overwhelm first-time visitors because the city moves fast, feels dense, and constantly pulls your attention in multiple directions. That mental overload is often what creates vulnerability. Istanbul is probably the best example of this contradiction. It's one of the world's greatest cities, but it can also feel intense. The city is enormous, crowded, loud, emotionally stimulating, and extremely layered. And that psychological intensity creates a feeling many travelers mistake for danger, especially at night. But in reality, most tourist districts remain active very late, including Sultanahmet, Galata, Karakoy, Kadıköy, and Besiktas. You'll often see families, couples, tourists, cafes, ferries, and restaurants operating deep into the evening. The bigger issue is usually exhaustion. Turkey demands attention from travelers constantly. Crossing streets, navigating crowds, negotiating prices, avoiding tourist traps, understanding transport systems, and handling sensory overload. And once people become mentally tired, they start making bad decisions. That's when problems usually happen. This is the part many travel videos avoid. Turkey has a very aggressive tourism economy in some areas. Not everywhere, but definitely in major tourist zones. Common situations include taxi overcharging, fake friendliness scams, inflated restaurant pricing, special local experience traps, carpet store manipulation, unofficial guides, and nightlife bait schemes. Most are designed around confusion and social pressure, not violence. And experienced travelers usually adapt quickly once they understand the rhythm. The key is simple. If someone approaches you too enthusiastically in a major tourist area, stay cautious, especially around Taksim, Sultanahmet, the Grand Bazaar, and nightlife districts. This is where nuance matters. Turkey experiences periods of protests, political tension, economic instability, and regional security concerns. But most tourists never directly encounter these situations. Why? Because the tourism economy is incredibly important to Turkey, and the major visitor regions are heavily protected, maintained, and operational. The bigger concern is not daily tourism safety. It's unpredictability. Things can change quickly. Demonstrations, transportation disruptions, internet restrictions, and localized security operations can happen with little warning. That's why monitoring official travel advisories before your trip is important, especially if you plan to travel near border regions. This distinction is extremely important. The farther east you travel, especially near borders with Syria, Iraq, and parts of southeastern Turkey, the more complicated the risk profile becomes. This does not mean eastern Turkey is universally dangerous, but it does mean infrastructure changes, tourism density drops, security sensitivity increases, and regional tensions become more relevant. Most international tourists never go near these areas. And for first-time visitors, staying within Turkey's primary tourism corridor is usually the smarter decision. That includes Istanbul, Cappadocia, the Aegean coast, and the Mediterranean coast, which is where the overwhelming majority of tourism happens anyway. One thing travelers absolutely should take seriously is earthquake risk. Turkey sits on major fault lines. And after the devastating earthquakes in recent years, awareness around building safety became much higher. For travelers, this mainly changes how you think about accommodation. Newer hotels and professionally managed properties generally create more confidence than older, unmanaged buildings, especially in Istanbul. Most tourists will never experience an earthquake during their trip, but this is one of the few risks in Turkey that is genuinely structural rather than situational. Turkey is visited by huge numbers of solo travelers every year, including women traveling alone. And many report very positive experiences. But expectations matter. Turkey is socially more conservative in some regions than much of Western Europe. That can sometimes translate into staring, persistent attention, unwanted conversation, or discomfort in less touristic areas. Usually more annoying than dangerous. In major tourism regions, solo travel is very common and generally manageable with normal precautions. The experience often depends heavily on location, time of day, cultural awareness, and confidence navigating attention. So, is Turkey actually safe? For most travelers visiting the main tourism regions, yes. Turkey is generally safer than many people expect. But it's not a passive destination. It rewards travelers who stay alert, avoid obvious scams, understand regional differences, and maintain realistic awareness. The country combines incredible hospitality, world-class history, stunning landscapes, modern infrastructure, and deep cultural intensity. But it also requires more situational awareness than destinations like Japan, Switzerland, or Singapore. Turkey is best understood as not dangerous, but highly dynamic. And for many travelers, that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Turkey can feel chaotic, emotional, overwhelming, beautiful, exhausting, and magical, sometimes all in the same day. And maybe that's why so many people visit once and keep coming back, because few destinations feel this alive. If you found this video useful, subscribe for more realistic travel intelligence and destination guides designed to help you travel smarter, not just cheaper.